The Drowning World is set in a future of floating cities, and its underwater cosmos draws from the ancient Atlantean and Celtic myths of shape-shifting Silkies who live among us. In the story, Lucas meets a lovely hybrid mermaid, half human and half dolphin. Together, Lucas and Marina try to save our world. The Drowning World is part of my Aquantis series, which includes the novel Animal Heart, which Jane Goodall calls a haunting love story in a very fast-moving plot. With sinking coastlines and monster hurricanes, our future is amphibious. Dive in with me to the Drowning World.
Okay, wow. All right. Nice to have that little introduction. Great to be here with you, Brenda.
Thank you, Sarah.
We're really excited to be on Zoom together and to be chatting with each other because we have this salon on Thursday where our salons are back, and we're just really thrilled that you're going to be speaking and you're going to be talking about a bunch of different projects, including your newest book. And why don't we start off with, tell me a little bit more about this concept of focusing on mermaids. Why are mermaids trending? I understand this book you wrote over 10 years ago, and how is this going to support us as we move into this new stage of wrestling with the impact of climate change?
Thank you, Sarah. You know, the great poet W.B. Yeats always asked, why this dream now? So we have to ask why this mermaid mythology is everywhere. There's Avatar, there's Wakanda Forever, there's the Little Mermaid being back again. Why? Why do these mythologies come back to either inform or haunt us or challenge us at certain periods? My feeling is that the mermaid myth is back because the whole world is being flooded. We have to learn how to be different. We have to shapeshift. We have to think about amphibious futures, floating cities like you just saw in that video. I mean, I just saw yesterday in the news, Japan has commissioned a floating city, kind of like Dubai, on the waves, because they believe that certain of their islands will be underwater. So climate change, young people are so aware of that. It's their future. And I wrote The Drowning World, this novel. I wrote The Drowning World in 2012. And all the editors in New York said, where are the elves? Where are the fairies? Where are the vampires? You know, because they weren't there yet. But now we are there. When fish are swimming down Miami streets, we're there.
Thank you. I think it's important that we're talking about climate change and that we're inspiring people to stick with the work that we need to do towards climate change. And you know, I grew up with The Little Mermaid in the 90s, and I kind of get the idea that, like, if you care about this like character, this fictional character, maybe you should also care about the ocean. But can you say more about some of the things that might have happened in your life that led to so much focus on water and mythical water creatures?
So thank you, Sarah. You know, I always startle people when I say this, but I drowned twice. So the first time I drowned, I came down from the forest where we were living, and I ran straight into the Pacific Ocean. Just 2-year-old, ran in, opened my arms, was like, oh, home. And my parents were benevolent, but they were distracted by their beach picnic. And suddenly they looked up and I was nowhere to be seen. So I was underwater, fathoms deep. I was in an undertow. And I remember it absolutely clearly to this day, all these decades later. I remember the dolphins, the chatter of the dolphins. I remember the jellyfish. I remember everything about that underwater realm. And it left me with a complete devotion to the oceans. I think I came back for the oceans. and we are a water planet, yes? And they've just now discovered that there are other exoplanets in the universe that have water, like Mars. So I think we need to begin to act like this is not a giant landmass with no water. We have to realize that the water is the womb of our Earth. So I've done a lot of books for Nature and Animals and National Geographic, and I realized that science is not enough, that science has not been able to convince people, unless they're just very scientific already, to look at the womb of our life, which is the oceans. That's why I thought, well, let's look at the younger generation like you. Let's look at the people who will be living in a drowning world, and let's create a mer people, a mythology of mer people who are half human and half dolphin. Now, I will tell you, having spent 20, 30 years underwater with whales and dolphins studying them, I really understand cetaceans, and I probably know them better than humans. And my friends will say, well, you're only half human. So then I thought, I'll just create creatures like me. So these drowning world people, I actually have a real person on the cover. That's her name is Haney Greer. She's a freediving champion. She can go down to 165 feet.
Oh wow! Here, let me show. I'll show the cover over here.
Yes.
Hold on one second. That didn't work. Hold on. Let's see. So over here, and then
yes. Thank you. So you'll see that that's not a painting. That is a real woman with long, beautiful mermaid hair, an actual tail that she uses. She is also a professional mermaid. So I interviewed a lot of mermaids when I did this book. And now there's $1 billion business with mermaids. There are influencers on Instagram who are dressing as mermaids, who are swimming as mermaids, So I look at that and I think it's really time to bring this back into the world. So I'm recording the audiobook right now that should be out in about a month, because young people like myself are listening to audiobooks as much as we read. So anything you can do to tell a story that will change and engage and advance our species, which I have to say is rather primitive.
Thank you. All right, so we also have a new book, and this is Tattoo Master. Let's look at that graphic now. You were telling me before about, oh, come on, screen share. Hold on, it's being tricky. Hold on one second.
I can share the screen if you need. There we go. Yeah, let's enlarge it a little bit. Okay, so I am so thrilled. This is already out on Amazon. It's an ebook. It's a Kindle, whatever, if you want to read on your tablet. But when I was doing a sequel to The Drowning World, I thought, I want to hire a tattoo master to create this mer person the way I see her. Her name is Marina. She does, like the Little Mermaid myth, fall in love with a human boy. She has to teach him to shapeshift into amphibious tail, so he becomes a merman with her, because the whole world is drowning. And they have this really weird, kind of wonderful way of seeing each other. They don't talk underwater, they mind talk. And they use their tattoos, which are like videos on their bodies. And they can read each other. And dolphins with their extrasensory sonar can read each other. They have X-ray vision, right? So they can look through the skin and look at a tumor, or they can look at, when I was swimming with dolphins with my sister, who was 8 months pregnant, they could tell that she had some sort of anomaly with that beautiful fetus. And they made everyone get out of the water. And this was really shocking. And my sister paid attention because she's a nurse. And that little girl was born with a very strange blood kind of incompatibility. She had to have a total transfusion, and she recovered beautifully. And she is now a doctor, a pediatric doctor who has beautiful children. So we love dolphins in this family. They saved lives and they've been my teachers. So why not create mer people in the future, part cetacean and part human? I think that would be the best of us.
I loved what you're saying and thinking about taking something like climate change and climate catastrophe that keeps people awake at night, brings people extreme distress, whether it's fearing for our lives, fearing for our financial security, fearing for our homes, fearing for future generations, and
Yes.
imagining a world where we've adapted. And,
Yes.
you know, it's not that
Yes.
we've given up on trying to slow what's happening, but that there are ways that we can actually look to the natural world to imagine how we as humans are going to adapt.
That's a really good point, Sarah. I mean, do you have children yet?
I don't have children of my own. I have many students and nieces and nephews.
Okay. Okay. Same with me. And so we both have more children than just our biological children, and, you know, grandnieces and nephews, etc. But when I look at their world, you know, that submersible that just sank over a Titanic, my feeling is we keep trying to make machines or technology that will exploit and explore the ocean. I'm not saying that one, because that Titan also did a lot of undersea research that was very valuable. I'm just saying, when we look at climate change or our oceans, we think, let's plunder them, let's put sonar in them, the military, let's put mines and get minerals out of them, instead of thinking, how could we change to become more like a sea creature and adapt and flow into this beautiful other world, which is our life support. That's why I thought, you know what? I can't keep doing it with science or nature writing. I have to create a world and a future that we could imagine. I mean, what if we started, all these girls who are running around getting mermaid tails, what if they really tried to become free divers like Megan and stay underwater for long periods of time instead of making it a fashion thing? You know, my book is The Little Mermaid backwards. It's not that the Little Mermaid has to give up her voice, her beautiful voice, right? To be with the prince. Why? Why can't the prince change to be with her? So I've just given away a bit of the plot. But I have to tell you, when you talk to young girls and you say, how would you like to give up your voice to be married and to be with a prince? Does that sound good? No. What if you say, how would you like to really be a mermaid? Dive down, bring the prince with you to an advanced stage. They go, yay! So that's what I did. And I loved writing it. It was a blast to write it. And I hope people love it as much as I do.
Well, I've really enjoyed chatting with you here, and everyone in Facebook land watching this. Want to make sure you know that this Thursday, so 2 days from now, we can have a whole hour with Brenda and myself and a bunch of other folks. It's completely free for people who are members of ASWM. All you have to do is click on the link in this post. You can sign up. It's on Zoom, and we'd love to see you there. If you're not a member of ASWM or your membership has lapsed, there's also a link to join and renew. And I'm looking forward to continuing this conversation and also checking out those books.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll see you on Thursday. And all of you come, please, and ask questions and tell me whether you think you can adapt.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Bye, Facebook land. Hope to see you on Thursday.